We are at San Jose Airport right now. Let me flip you around and show you.
Swarming with activity.
Yeah, we've got one other person in the terminal with us. We're on our way to
Oklahoma
to help a company called Boom Moto. We're gonna go out there, we're gonna review their bikes.
Electric bikes.
Oh, that's right. I have found either a forgotten bag or a bomb. Alright, so here we go. Ready? Oh, I can't load it. I can't do a race launch.
I know, that's too bad.
1, 2, 3, go.
What did your 0 to 60 say?
I went 89 miles per hour.
Right.
4.4 miles.
No 0 to 60.
Okay, this is what I got. My 132nd mile, 6.1 seconds at 36 miles per hour. 1/16th mile was 8.4 seconds at 44 miles per hour. 1/8 mile was 12.2 seconds at 65 miles per hour. Quarter mile, 18 seconds at 79 miles per hour. Oh, here we go, best. 60 miles per hour, 11 seconds. 539 feet. Okay, so you expected 10, I expected 9. It was a little bit under par, but the same speed as the Nozaki. So we can work with that. Felt the chatter that you said you felt. It was quite clear and quite strong. The other thing I noticed is that it was also very rhythmic, right? So it felt like a sinusoidal pattern, which tells me two things. One, it's entirely possible that this wheel is not balanced well. This bike had no pulsating in the brakes. The brakes on this one were great. And despite that little roughness in the motor or the drive, whatever it is, I had great confidence in the corners on this one going out to Dewey because I knew the brakes weren't going to pulsate on me in the corner. I knew that the chassis on the 200 in particular is a lot better feeling than the 100, and so it just made me feel a lot more comfortable. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
This guy so much.
That's such a good setup here, man. Like, I would not have expected this for a little town like Bartlesville.
Do we know what voltage? 72 to...
It's supposed to be 72 nominal, which means around 84, 85 maximum.
Yeah, so it could be like, probably like, you know, maybe 67 to 84 or something is the range. Well, you've got the narrowest screwdriver possible. You got no torque on here.
Eric, have you assembled or disassembled any of these bikes? Okay.
That's about it.
Okay. What in the world?
Really? I'm so glad you're here, Eric.
Yeah. It's good to have someone who knows what they're doing around. Well, let's do it. Did you look directly into the light again?
You guys were going to run into a bunch of Okies, didn't you?
I never said that.
You thought it, didn't you?
Drinking coffee out of a mason jar is not too far
No. The
is
mason
great.
jars are very expensive in California. That's
Really?
designer coffee.
Really? That's what I use at home to drink out of.
Sweating my ass off out here doing a range test.
Right. Nobody cares. Drive safe. Love you, honey. We'll leave him for the vultures. Whoa. Nice having bikes with reverse. This is the data we need, though.
Because you're gonna get people who want to do this kind of commute on a daily basis. Mike just said payard. Payard.
I got Spotify playing on the bike. I mean, that's pretty cool. Love it. I'll get my crotch thing covered up here. All right, and I think this should give us better acoustics too.
So this has been day one of riding, testing, inspection, teardown, and meetings about the Boom Motorcycles 100, 200, and 300 model bikes.
Yeah, we actually ripped apart one of their very first Model 300 bikes,
Yeah.
Which they've already made an iteration on to improve some of the newer bikes. So we got to see what the first iteration was, and then a better version of it that they have out right now, too.
So we started out the day riding the 300s, which are their flagship model, would you say?
I guess, yeah, actually, you know what, I would.
It's what
It's the most power, it's their top of the line.
It's the top
bike.
line, it's the most comfortable, I would say. The 100 and 200 both have clip-ons, so they're a little more aggressive. This has full handlebars, a little more upright.
Yeah, I'd say the 100
more.
has real clip-ons, and the 200 has like a sport touring sort of clip-on. So they're up much higher. For me, the 200 is a very comfortable ride. It's very reminiscent of a Zero, only like 100 pounds lighter and like half the power.
Yeah.
And then the 300 by far is definitely the most relaxed riding position. But the
still
200 is pretty nice.
Still
with that
cramped leg-wise.
Yeah, the pegs
all-
could be a
they're
little bit lower and
all-
things like that.
When you're over 6 feet, they're all going to be cramped leg-wise.
Yeah. So far, they seem really attentive to the notes that we're giving them, and they're taking notes on all the things that we're saying. I hear no excuses. They seem genuinely intent on improving their motorcycle.
Yeah.
And we can already see that intent coming to fruition in the second generation bike that we're testing now.
So we started out the day riding two of the 300s, and immediately the one Brandon was given had some behavioral issues. Turns out that was a known problematic bike. There were two red ones. They gave him the wrong one by mistake, and we didn't realize it until we went to the edge of town, tried to come back, and the bike was reading that it had, at least 60 to 7% battery.
80%, yeah,
but it
something
was just
like that.
cutting out every 5 feet, and I had to limp it back.
I was starting to get a little bit concerned looking at the way that bike was assembled.
We did a full teardown on that bike. We actually
Yeah.
put it on a stand and took the bodywork off, looked at how the wires go, measured for any isolation faults in the frame, didn't find any.
Let's go over some of the things that we discovered with that prototype bike that were concerning but also encouraging. We found that there isn't a contactor to disengage the battery from the controller. So there's a little bit of vampire parasitic drain there, but it's something that can be fixed with a simple part. Very DIY, very prototypey, and I was very thankful to find out that was a prototype bike after we did the teardown on it.
And we didn't know that was a prototype. We thought they were at first. We thought
Yeah.
they were all like that, and we reported that problem, and they immediately wanted us to show them exactly what we meant, and they said, okay, how do we fix this? Okay, we want to fix this. We believe you.
Yeah.
And then after we looked at some of the other bikes, we went, oh, look,
They already fixed it.
There's mounting bolts on every one. We just happened to find the one that had a ratchet strap.
Yeah, that was encouraging. Now, the other thing that was encouraging, since we're talking about all this battery stuff, we measured for chassis isolation, and we
Yep.
found full chassis isolation. So that's really encouraging. And then there were a couple other things, like there are some sensors that should turn the bike off, like the kickstand switch. They should implement that. I know it's not required everywhere, but I think it's a good safety feature to have. On my old racing Zeros, I used to disable the kickstand switch, and I would ride around with a bike that had no kickstand switch on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it's perfectly fine to do that, but I think for new riders that this bike is perfect for, having a kickstand switch on there would be really important. And they said they're going to take our advice on looking at a hall sensor.
And then put a covering over the controller on the 300s.
Right. So that
Because
controller is fully exposed.
Yeah,
Now on the Boom Moto,
there's metal over the controller.
yes, it is something that isn't supposed to move. It's a full metal gas tank that I hope they convert into a storage tank. But if that metal gas tank was to get crushed down onto it or something like that, that would be a problem. We showed that to them, and they're going to put some rubber booties over the top of each one of those lugs.
Yeah.
And that's a perfectly safe way
Yeah.
to fix that problem.
It's fine.
So, yeah, I think that's going to be a good fix. So that's two things right off the bat that we've already seen improvements on from these guys in one day of riding. Like, they just got right on top of this stuff to implement these changes.
So we rode the 300, and then we rode the 100, which is
Yes.
I would say the smallest feeling of them.
Yeah. So the 300 is supposed to have a 20 kilowatt motor, and then the 100 and 200 have a 10 kilowatt motor. And Morgan right now is on a 300 that has a 10 kilowatt motor in it,
Yeah.
and I'm on a 200 that has a 10 kilowatt motor in it. But the ones that we rode this morning were 20 kilowatt motors. Your rear brake is on the handlebar, so you need both hands.
I've got
really.
the brake controls are on the thing there, and I would say over half the bikes have warp refueling rotors.
If things are not packed appropriately, like if you stack things wrong, you're going to damage your rotors. And I think that's what's happening.
That's what it feels like, because you hold down the lever and there's pressure, non-pressure in a rhythm.
Yeah, it's
and it gets worse as the brakes heat up.
Yeah. Now, with that said, we have a couple of bikes, including the bikes we're on right now where the brakes are perfect.
Doesn't find that problem at all.
When you have the good brakes on the bike, it feels really nice in the corners. Like, okay, it's not a bike for blasting around. We had a confirmed 89 miles an hour from GPS.
Additionally, we pinned the things for quite a while.
Oh, man. And they hold the speed that they hold. And then when
At least a minute solid, I would say. At least I think a solid minute of that 89 or whatever it was.
Over a mile, I think we held it for.
Yeah, and you can feel it start to, like, I don't really want to do this. Okay, I'll keep going. I don't really want to. I'll keep going.
After like a mile of doing that, you felt it go.
Yeah.
That's representing the power loss right there.
Yeah,
but
I can't really explain it other than you can feel it.
Yeah, it feels like you're bumping up against a very gentle governor.
At the same time, on the comms, we're like, "Are you losing power?" Yeah, losing power.
Yeah. But for a bike that's an urban commuter like this, I was actually pretty impressed with how long it could hold wide open. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. I was pleased with it.
And so this bike is what we would call its maximum speed and power output, I would say, is for spirited riding. You can't really, go balls to the wall.
Quick video break. I'm going to get a drink in my backpack.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, Oklahoma in June, I guess we brought the good weather with us because it's been a beautiful high 70s all day.
When we got here, it was in the 90s.
We got last night when we landed, at 8:30, it was 90 degrees. And our host woke up this morning and, got to our door and he said, I don't know what you guys did, but this is perfect weather, so keep it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little sticky and hot, but whatever, this is totally tolerable. This is high 70s, low 80s feels like. And it's gorgeous, everything's green and beautiful here. I did not envision Oklahoma this pretty, actually. I was thinking it was a little more flat from straight up farmland. We're in a state park right now, OSHA, what is it? Something.
I don't know. We'll put the name underneath here on the state park.
But it's lovely. And I thought I was going to be swarming with bugs. I'm not. I've seen one or two bugs today.
Yeah, and we're near water. This is a very green area. We're not being swarmed by bugs.
Not being eaten by mosquitoes.
This whole trip has been pretty awesome. You know what's actually really cool is that these guys have the opportunity of bringing EV stuff to Middle America, right? They've got a little tech college near them with kids that they can bring in to sort of teach how to work on these bikes. And since they're low voltage, everything's going to be pretty safe. The local government here seems super interested. Tesla almost put their new factory in Tulsa.
Which is just south of here.
Yeah, the area around here seems to be more open to EVs than we would expect. All the people we've met are super excited when they see the bikes. We've had 2 or 3 kids stop and chat with us.
We went to coffee this morning to meet with the Boom Moto people, and the sheriff drove past. They waved him down and said, "Hey, go ride one of the bikes." And the guy went, okay, parked his sheriff truck, hopped out, and took a bike around the block, and then giggling came back. All right, that's cool.
And all the people in town here, it's a small town, but it's not a tiny town. There's 30,000 people in Bartlesville.
Small town feel.
Yeah.
It's cozy. I'm going to get a kick out of that, the fact that I'm here. Back to the handling of the bikes, the brake rotors and the pinning it. I want to go about each bike handles very differently.
Yeah, let's start with the 100s and we'll move our way up.
The 100 is my least favorite, and he actually Brandon made me shut up talking about it on the comms.
That's how much he was just non-stop
The
complaining.
steering is so squirrely on it. You turn it and the bike says no and straightens itself back out.
I think the geometry is slightly off on that bike.
At low speeds, it's very unstable and doesn't want to turn. At high speeds, it's very unstable and doesn't want to turn.
Also, both of the 100s that we rode had the pulsating brakes. So that took away our confidence. Plus the very first bike, that prototype bike that I was on, took away my confidence initially. So then let's move on to the 200s next. So we actually got to ride the 200 after our initial review meeting at the Boom Mobile offices, right down the street from Boom Moto. It's a sister company. We met with the CEO and we talked about things with his team there. Honestly, at that point, I think I probably came off a little bit disappointed because I had just ripped apart a prototype and thought that that was their production bike. I had just ridden bikes that had warped rotors. So I was...
And couldn't corner for anything.
We got to ride the 200s after that meeting, and I
Night and day.
am so glad that we did. Like, the 200s that we were on, yeah, they had the pulsating brakes, but the geometry of the bike and the suspension...
Stable,
oh
planted.
my gosh, it felt good in the corners.
Yeah.
My hope for this
yeah.
company was restored after
Immediately.
getting on that 200. I saw the powertrain. Oh, what do you know? There's a real battery box on this thing. It's safe. Hey, what do you know? It goes into the corners reliably and predictably. Oh, what do you know? The power is there. We're hitting 89 miles an hour and holding it.
Oh, look, the controller is upside down so that the lugs are not exposed to the rider. You know,
Yeah.
the heat sinks the other way. That's cool.
Yeah, it was so much better.
Ergonomically, I didn't care for the way the tank
The
was
seats
shaped.
are too high
They're-
on the 200
They're,
as well.
the bike's
Or
just a little
the
small
tank.
for me. It's kind of similar to the Zero S and the Live Wire. It's just a little bit small. For people under 6 feet, I think they're going to be fine.
I've had fun riding these bikes, and now I'm on a 200, Morgan's on a 300, and it's an enjoyable day of riding out right now.
Yeah, I would like beefier front brakes.
Mhm.
The power delivery, it's like an S on eco mode at 30% battery.
That's really obscure. I mean, I agree with you, but I don't know how many of the people watching this are going to understand what we just said. I would equate it to a low CC, like a 200 CC.
No, it's a
or,
moped, kind of sorts.
Yeah, it's a high-powered scooter.
A smooth moped.
Yeah, that looks like a sweet motorbike.
But as a hub motor,
Mhm.
it's the quietest thing there is.
Yeah.
Like the Zero's motor, it has a whine to it. There's a belt. It's quiet. This is damn near silent.
This is almost silent. Only when you're first taking off can you hear it.
the grinding, angry
Oh
chunk.
my gosh, it's not
there. There's some easy fixes on here, and I think this is a really fun inner city urban commuter, or short commuter type thing that you want to take out to a state park and cruise around
Yeah,
on.
you could go for
I think
short rides
this
on this
would
thing out.
absolutely
on the
bring a
weekend.
smile to your face.
Yep.
And is not scary dangerous.
No, I would say, yeah. The power that this has is controllable by anyone.
It's very friendly.
I would very much recommend first riders to get a bike like this because
or
it's-
learn on a bike like this.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter if you want to ride petrol. It doesn't matter if you want to ride electric. I don't care what kind of bikes you want to get somebody on or you yourself want to ride. This is a great bike to start on.
Yeah.
You can learn how to ride a motorcycle on this. You could get this as a pit bike if you like your powerful bike that you have. This is perfect for toodling around town on. You like that?
I've gotten them addicted to that word now. It's from the Honda manual. Toodle the horn melodiously, yelling, "Hi, hi! Beware the friendly dog that makes play in the streets. And
Yes.
also beware the corners, for there lurks the skid demon."
Speaking of tootling the horn melodiously,
there's 3 horns.
there's
on
3
this
horns
bike.
on this thing. So the start button on the right-hand side has been converted into
A horn.
and we have recommended that be converted into the
Start button.
contactor
Yeah.
controlling button. But then there's also
Then there's the horn.
Bluetooth built
No.
into the bike.
Then there's the standard horn button, which is the same horn, but it's just there's 2 switches,
Yeah.
left horn and right horn.
Yep.
And then there's a Bluetooth speaker system built into these bikes that syncs to your phones. You can blast out music as
Yeah.
you let
This
people.
is for you, Ryan.
Yeah.
You would love this.
It's got volume controls, play, pause, all that in there, and there's literally the bottom button is a horn, and it's a separate horn from the speakers. So there's actually 2 horns, but 3 horn buttons
Yeah.
on this bike. As the eagle cries, sheds 1 tear.
That-
What was that? An eagle?
No, it wasn't an eagle. I don't want any more questions on this. The bottom line on these bikes is I'm having fun. I am
Yeah.
not disappointed. and I am encouraged by their openness with these bikes. They're not hiding anything from us. They're not trying to push back on any of the things they're saying. They're having an open dialogue with us about how to improve the bikes, and it makes me feel really positive for the future of this company.
They seem to be receiving the constructive criticism well.